Okay, so today we're going to learn about mitosis. What mitosis is how we create identical cells. So right here is a picture of typically what we think of mitosis. When a cell starts off as one, the chromosomes slowly divide, and eventually we end up with two cells like this. So we're going to step through this process of how we take one cell and make two identical cells. First off, I think a good way to think about mitosis is when you feel really itchy. So we feel itchy sometimes, we're scratching all the skin, and my question is how do we make new skin? When we scratch that old skin off, how does that new skin come in? And the answer is through mitosis. So mitosis, the key right here is it makes identical copies of cells with identical DNA. Alright, so right now we're going to draw through the different phases of mitosis. The first phase we start off with is the G1 phase. And we're going to pretend our our cell has two chromosomes to start. So we're going to draw the two chromosomes right here. And during the G1 phase, pretty much what's happening is growth of the cell. The next phase is the S phase, and I think this is one of the most important parts of a cell's growth. S phase stands for synthesis, and this is when the DNA doubles. So if we started with two chromosomes over here, during S phase, we'll end up with 4 chromosomes. So we start off with 2, now we're doubling to the DNA during S phase, getting ready to divide. The next part is known as G2. And pretty much during G2, the cell's preparing to actually divide. So, preparing to divide. So all of this, the G1, S, and G2 phase, are known as interphase. In an interphase, it's actually the biggest and longest part of the cell cycle. We usually think of just mitosis when the cell actually divides, but the cell does so much more during interphase. It grows, it doubles the DNA, and prepares to divide, and that takes a lot longer. So during G2, we're still going to have 4 chromosomes. Okay, on to the next part. We ended off with G2. Now we're going to actually start to divide, and this is called mitosis. So the first part of mitosis is prophase. And during prophase, you'll actually see the chromosomes start to become visible. I drew them previously just so we see what they look like, but during prophase, we'll actually see those 4 chromosomes in our hypothetical cell become visible. Our next phase is metaphase. And metaphase, I like to think meta-middle. Your chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell. Anaphase is our next phase. Anaphase, you have these 2 chromosomes in the middle, meta-middle, and they start to go to either side of the cell. So you'll have 2 that start to go towards this side, and 2 that start to go towards this side. Okay, moving forward. Our next phase is telophase. Okay, during telophase, you're going to have your 2 chromosomes on opposite sides of the cell, and you're actually going to see the cell start to divide. And then the cell finally divides, what's called cytokinesis, and you get 2 brand new cells. So this is right here, is called cytokinesis. So you go through interphase, which is your longest part of the cell, and our next slide shows this. Oops. So interphase is going from G1 to S to G2. This is your longest part of the cell cycle, and then you actually start to divide. That's when you go through PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. And then cytokinesis is actually when the cell divides. The easiest way sometimes is to see it in a video. So I got this video off YouTube right here. So if you can guess right now, we're probably in prophase. You can actually see some of the chromosomes right here, and we're going to go through the stages of mitosis. So you want to remember PMAT. So the next thing that's going to happen is metaphase. So you can see these chromosomes are moving along. We're going towards the middle now, meta-middle. Now our next phase, now that we're in the middle, we should see these chromosomes start to go to either side of the poles, either side of the cell. Right there was anaphase and telophase, and you can see the cell starting to pinch off here, and then you go through cytokinesis. Okay, so that's mitosis. I hope that's been helpful.